name is Valerie White-Williams, and today I am talking about the fourth house in astrology. As you know, I'm a huge fan believing that the house positions are really where we should be looking at versus sun sign astrology, because our house positions show us where we are meant to be and what we are supposed to do. So it's kind of a roadmap. So when you are born, it sets that wheel into stone, and so you can find out where you're really supposed to be putting your energy to. And it's a great roadmap. So sun sign astrology, boo. Let's talk about the fourth house. So the fourth house is directly across the midheaven down to what we call the IC. And that is the foundation of your security. The fourth house is all about feeling secure in the world, and it also is, we're talking about your home life, how you feel safe. So it appeals to your early childhood, the experiences that you grew up as a child in your home, and it also speaks to how you build a home and you feel safe in the world. So it's kind of that place. Now, it's maybe not always a home, but how you feel safe. It's your security. And you grow up, and hopefully you grew up with a secure home, but things happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the positions of all the planets. So of course we are going to start with the sun. Now the sun sign, like I said, I don't think that sun sign astrology is really all out that, because people overblow the whole position of the sun, because the sun is basically your hero's journey. It's what you have come here to take on and shine your light in that place. Again, it's about the place. The signs are more like ice cream flavors or potato chip flavors. You're still a potato chip. You're in that potato chip house, but you might be spicy or you might be sweet. So it's not as important. The placement is more key. Now, if you have the sun in your fourth house, that means that you're very motivated and you need to shine there. It's going to be your safe haven. It's going to be where you find relief from the outside world. And so when you shine in your fourth house, that means that you really enjoy feeling good and secure. You might work at home. You might have activities that you express, like you may like to garden, you like to cook, you might like to entertain. Now that will be, again, the signs on the house. Like say if you're Leo, you probably would love to host lavish parties, bring all your friends and celebrate and shine in a way that is going to be really entertaining. Everybody who comes to your house feels the love. So that's what the sun sign is going to be in that fourth house. You're going to have this really loving, shining energy. And so if you grew up in a home like that, it would feel very protective. It would feel like, yes, this is what I want. I want to feel safe and secure, and I want to shine, and I can actually do what I want at my house. So you might have gotten a lot of encouragement to grow in your family of origin. And it just really was something that you had in spades. You have it, you shine it, you love it. And then the signs are going to be like, say, Virgo. So say, yes, sun in Virgo in the fourth house, it might be, you might be really analytical and you're studying code, but you're getting that encouragement to like, I can do it. I'm going to grow into it and I can feel really safe. It's my safe haven. All right, and so of course with the sun sign, you're growing into it, and as you become adult, it's going to be really important to feel that place where you can relax and enjoy, and that place could also be where you just feel safe to create, and you have that safety in that home experience. All right, so now we're going to go into the moon. Now the moon sign is a bit more reflective, because usually with the sun sign, we're actually working toward it and shining it, but the moon is reflective. And so you might have had an experience where that moon sign, you took it for granted. You took it for granted that comfort was always there. and it was easy to elicit, to come out. And so having that moon in the fourth house, it could be that, you need more safety for your emotional expression. Now that would be also, the moon has some correlation also with the fourth house, because it is the house of the mothers, and it correlates to Cancer. So moon in the fourth house is like super nurturing, because it's almost like you don't even realize how lucky you are to come from this house that just felt so nurturing. Like you just wanted to stay at your own home, and everybody else would come to your house too, because it was just such a great place to be, and you just kind of took it for granted. And later on in life, you're going to recreate that feeling of like, it's so easy. I feel so nurtured, and so it's like you don't even, it's like what's in the moon sign, it's like it just comes naturally. You can't even almost separate it from you, because it's so easy. And usually with the moon sign, that's something that you've experienced before. It comes easy for you. You reflect it. And the moon sign is also where you comfort yourself. So you can see there's all these like inner circles of the moon in the fourth house. That is just, it's a very lucky placement, because it gives a lot of security for you to just, like, you're always going to be safe. Wherever you go, that safety, that charm, that good luck charm is going to follow you. Wherever you live, you're going to find that just easy relaxation in the fourth house, in the comfort and security, no matter where you are, wherever you are. And it's something that you like to turn to. You turn into it, and it comforts you. It's a comfort. All right, so now we're going to go into Mercury. Totally different than the moon. So Mercury is how you think and how you communicate, your mental processes, your mental body. So totally different than the moon. The mental processes is, if you have Mercury in the fourth house, you're doing a lot of thinking. You might have parents that are very intellectual. They like to maybe do debates. They like to talk about things. And people are talking a lot and sharing information. And so that gives you that sense of, this is how people are. We debate, we talk about things. And I'm not talking about, talking debates like people are angry, but there's a lot of intellectual activity in the house. They write a lot of books, people are reading, they're discussing things. Your parents might be other like educators that talk, and they come bring that home to the house. They might be homeschooling, things like that. So there's lots of intellectual activity in that fourth house. And again, it depends on the signs, the ice cream flavors. So, let's say it's in Taurus, you have your Mercury in Taurus. Now, Taurus likes to think, but they think about building things. So that could be you come from a house where, people are building businesses, and they're building money, and they talk about how we're going to grow a business, or how we have a home business that you might be doing, and we're going to talk about it. There could be an intellectual activities going on, and it could be like people are teaching or counseling or writers. So there's going to be a little bit of that activity in your house, and of course that's how you feel comfortable and safe, because the fourth house, there is that interchange between the fourth house, Cancer, and the moon. So that's why Cancer moon signs in that fourth house is like you're really, really blessed. But so now I'm going to go into Venus. And Venus is your emotional body, how you interact with people, how you kind of socialize with them, how comfortable you are interacting with people in that way. So people that have Venus in the fourth house have an ease of emotional interchange, I would say. And so when people are in the home, it's easy to bring friends in. It's easy to entertain. It's easy to have discussions and emotional exchanges that feel really comfortable. Venus is also a planet where that planet placement is sometimes is a sign of who is going to be your friend or your partner, or who you're going to feel comfortable with, because you share that common emotionally expression. So there could be friends and people coming to the house a lot in your home. Everybody felt kind of welcome. The kind of house where whoever comes to your home, they're a friend. Like, hey, we're friends, we're gonna hang out together, and everybody, we have events and everybody's welcome. We're like a big family. And so that emotional feeling of having friends in the home and everybody, feels good together. I mean, in a friendly family way. And so that kind of brings senses. Like, I've gone to people's houses and they have parties all the time. They have this huge estate or something, and then they have like big parties. Everybody brings potluck food, kids play, parents talk, people drink wine, things like that. And so that is kind of like what that Venus is in that house position, is because it's pleasurable. Venus likes pleasure. They like to interact and share emotional feelings, and there's also a sense of beauty and love. So also, if the Venus is in that fourth house, aesthetics are going to be really important. It's going to be beautiful place, beautiful setting, beautiful scenery, beautiful decor. So, and that's going to make you feel comfortable. Everybody's comfortable there. Everybody wants to be at it's like that person. Everybody wants to be at their house because they feel so comfortable, and it's so beautiful and fun. And so when you grow up and you create your own house, you have that fourth house Venus, you're going to want to create that as well. All right, so now I'm going to talk about Mars in the fourth house. So Mars is kind of a little bit slightly awkward. I don't like to think of it good and bad. It's just really the energy that comes together, because Mars is that action of your body. It's your physical fertility. Yeah, it's Mars is the active force. It's your physical body. And so Mars in that fourth house is people that really have a lot of physical energy. Now, a lot of astrologers will say Mars in the fourth house means there's going to be a lot of yelling and it's going to be a lot of anger. I don't really agree, because I don't think there is good and bad in astrology. It's kind of just the placements and the balance. Mars is not planet of anger. It could be the energy. It's really the energy, because anger can be appropriate in certain places. And so unless things have affliction or stress, that's a different thing. So just having Mars in the fourth house does not mean, it's a horrible, placement. It's just that there's a lot of energy going on in that house. There's a lot of people that are maybe really sporty and they really love to watch football games, and they're going to yell at the TV like, yes, come on, let's do it, and there could be a lot of sporty energy in that house. Or mom might have a daycare and they're jumping around on things, and all kinds of things like that. So there's going to be a lot of extra energy, physicality in that house. And you could just be a lot of kids that are just climbing on jungle gyms in the backyard, or dad might be a fitness coach or a coach, and like, we're going to get everybody out, come on, let's go jogging, we're going to do all this stuff. And so that would be normal. Like, doesn't everybody else just like, dad wakes you up at 6 a.m. and we're going to go on a jog as a family? Yeah, that kind of person, that kind of placement, and you get used to that. And I had a daughter who had a dad who was a soccer coach, and they were always doing that stuff. Let's gonna coach the kids, and let's get on up and do it. Let's go skiing. We're gonna do stuff like that. And so there's a lot of physical activity, and could be also that, there's a lot of yard work. We're working on the yard, and we're doing all this stuff. We're building stuff. We're using our body. We're doing a bunch of stuff. And it's like, it's a lot of action. It's a lot of action. And so that's what you think of. It's like, yeah, I'm going to build my house too. I'm going to build it from scratch. I'm going to grow this house. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to build gardens. We're going to build like rock walls, things like that, or, other physical activities that is going on in the house, because that's how you grow up with it. My dad's a coach. We were coaching kids all the time and always throwing balls around. So that's kind of how it works, is that physicality that you grew up with that was really important in your family life, you want to carry it on because it makes you feel like home. It's your home. You feel that way. All right, so now I'm going to talk about Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is the planet of benevolence. And that's where I kind of think it's like the fairy godmother energy, that where that Jupiter planet shows up is like, things come easy. You're like, this dropped in my lap. I can't believe it. So having Jupiter in the fourth house means that there is a lot of opportunity that shows up for you. Like there might be some friends of the family that have contacts that are family friends, and you're going to go to college and they're going to say, wow, I really want to go to this college, but I don't know if I can get in. You know, it's hard to get in. And then all of a sudden, boom, guess what? Family friend has contact, and there you go. You're in. Things like that. And that's kind of how Jupiter works. It's not like it's like always there, but sometimes you get like this easy pass. You get the pass out, and you're like, where did this come from? It came out of nowhere. And so that's how Jupiter could be in the fourth house, because Jupiter is going to bring this expansion, and it's going to bring you opportunities that you didn't see coming. And so those are the things that show up, and sometimes you don't realize it until later. You're going to go, because the outer planets tend to be a little bit, it's not directly in your personality and what you're doing. It's kind of like they're like Cinderella's fairy godmothers, and they're watching, or like Sleeping Beauty or something like that. And so like, boom, here's this place. Or you might be living in a home that you moved to this beautiful place, and it happened really easily. You're like, wow, we get to live here. We get to live here. And then you have that experience as a child of there's like all this benevolence. And then when you grow up, you're like, I want to have this. And then boom, you get this 1 in a million chance to get this great place at a great price. And you're like, wow, yes, this is happening to me. It's great. So that's the planet of Jupiter, expansion. Expand that. We get a new house. We're going to get a bigger house. We really love it. All this stuff, all this happiness and abundance is coming to us into our house. So that's a really lucky placement. So now I'm going to go on and talk about Saturn. So Saturn is kind of on the other side of Jupiter, because Saturn is the planet of, we call it karma sometimes, but it is the planet of structure. I think that's the more positive way to think about it, because wherever Saturn shows up, it's something that you really, really, really want, but you have to work to get it. And I don't want to say like work, but you have to build. Maybe that's a better way to think about it. Because basically my teacher, Connie Kaplan, calls Saturn is a time lord, and it helps you realize time. So having Saturn in the fourth house means there was a bit of kind of some restrictions. Like you really, really wanted to have this really comfortable place. There could be, so this placement might be where there may be some divorce, or might be some things that weren't exactly, nurturing in the house. And it could be various things. I mean, it could be like a divorce, or, separation, or maybe you had to work really hard to take care of your siblings because mom was always working and you're having to take care of everybody, things like that. But you really want to create a life in your home that feels loving and fulfilling, but you're kind of like in the early years, you're kind of digging against it, because it's kind of like you have to work through it. And so when you start working through it, because you're like, I really want to have a home that feels comfortable and loving and supportive, but you really didn't grow up in that environment. So you have to learn to build it yourself, because that's what Saturn does. I'm trying not to be too depressing, but wherever Saturn shows up is where you have to persevere. And so we have also what we call the Saturn return. So by at age 28, 29, Saturn comes back to where it was when you were born. And then you kind of go, okay, this is it. I know what I want to do. I know what I want to do. So when you get into that first Saturn return, you're going to be going, okay, this is really important to me. I really want to have a stable home life. I really want to have a stable home. I want to have this home that is supportive to me. I'm going to do everything I can to make that happen. So that's what Saturn does. It says, I'm going to do it. And then when you do it, and I know it takes time. So if you're younger than 28, you may not understand. But it's something that you really, really want, but you have to prioritize it. And then when you build into it, it's so rewarding. So there is the reward in the end, because this is for a placement where people that didn't really have that nurturing, and then you're going to do it yourself and create that nurturing home. And it's going to be really powerful when you do it, because you're going to do it your way. All right, so now I'm going to go into Uranus. Now again, these outer planets are a little bit more outer. And so Uranus is one of those planets too, because it basically gives you this lightning strike of energy, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. Now, Uranus is also associated with kind of electronics and new things. It's kind of related to like the Aquarian energy, that, new inventions. So having Aquarius in the 4th house means that your home life might have been a little bit quirky. And I don't mean like everybody's super weird, but your parents might have had some different beliefs and ideas that weren't the norm, and it would show up for you. It wasn't like it was going to be blatantly there, like, oh my gosh, these parents are really weird, but they kind of like, I don't want to say a little off, but they were maybe ahead of their time. So it might have been, you might have come from a family that was homeschooling before everybody else did, or your mom was really into like alternative health and having wacky food that all your other friends were like going, really? I'm sorry. No, so it was a little bit before their time. And then when you were in that home, you were going to get the spark of like, wow, I'm going to do it differently. Because that's what that Uranus energy is. It actually is like something new. It's new and different. And it's going to give you this sudden strike of inspiration, like a lightning bolt. Zing! Okay, let's do this. We're going to put solar panels on our roof. We're going to be the first one in the neighborhood that's going to do that. So that's kind of the energy of Uranus, is that it's kind of cutting edge. And sometimes people don't get cutting edge because it's the cutting edge. But that was going to be in your family life. Your parents were going to maybe you had a stay-at-home dad, no one else did. And your mom went to work, and people are like, okay, that's different. I mean, I know, just things like that. And so that's kind of the Uranus in that 4th house. And then as an adult, you're always going to maybe strive for seeing if you can do things a little bit differently, and not really caring what everybody else is doing. Like, well, I'm going to do this, and we're going to try it, and we're going to see. And yeah, like, all kinds of things. I can't even think of all the things, like gardening things that are hydroponics. There's things like that in the house, things like that. And so that's going to bring you that sense of, hey, we can experiment with how to live. Maybe you're going to live in a houseboat, things like that. Some things that are out of the norm. And that will show up sometimes with that Uranus placement. All right, so now we're going to go into Neptune. And Neptune is kind of correlates to Pisces, and it's in the sea. So Neptune is really about spirituality and creativity. And so, of course, you can probably imagine that having Neptune in the 4th house, there was probably a lot of focus on spirituality, whether it's traditional spirituality, you went to church a lot, or alternative spirituality. It really depended on that sign. But obviously in that home, spirituality and creativity were really enhanced. And so it's kind of comes together in the home. Like, people could be artists, art was encouraged, they might be dancers, they could go to church and spend a lot of time in church, and that was really going to be a huge focus in your home life. And you might even bring that church group into your home, like the church is your home, and it's like this in and out focus of that Neptune energy in that 4th house. Now, again, some people think of the Neptune as being somewhat confused. It kind of diffuses because it's kind of molded to the one. I don't like to think about that, because it's like people think, oh, it's really negative. Like, I just don't agree with the negativity of some of the placements, because it's really about how you're going to focus it and how you're going to work through it. Because what happens, like, oh, your parents could have been drug addicts, or because they were doing drugs. So that's like the dark side of Neptunian energy. But it doesn't always mean that. It could be that people were just like, your mom loved to meditate. She went to an ashram, and then she came home and she still meditates and has meditation circles. Or maybe just random prayer circles, really involved in spirituality. So it's not like it's bad. That's what I don't like, the bad energy. Like, it just really is, there's just a sense of mysticism and spirituality in the home. And creativity kind of merges together. So, and that's not a bad thing, because it could be very comfortable, because when we see what things are afflicted, it's still, we're learning to balance, because we came here to bring balance. So that's why I don't like to talk about bad things, because it's from your own perspective. We're here to balance it all. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about Pluto. And Pluto is this death and rebirth thing, okay? So it shows where you go when you're having a hard time, how you rechange and you grow again. It's like the Persephone myth. She goes into the underworld and then she comes back. And so Pluto energy is about transforming. It's transformative energy, and it shows where and how you are going to transform. So in the fourth house, there could be a lot of drama in that fourth house, where people are really going into themselves and coming out. And so there could be some kinds of, how do I say it? I don't want to say like, there could be some drama, I should say. There could be some drama. There might be dramatic people. But again, when we have this explosion, then we have the release. There's a release. And sometimes that explosion brings us to another level. Or we feel really depressed. That's another side. Besides exploding, you could become really depressed, and you have to go deep into yourself and be alone. And then you're going to come up through it, and then you're going to be renewed. So it's really about death and rebirth and renewal. No, not literal death, okay? But the death of your ideas, the death of your identity is going to be changing. So in that fourth house, you might be moving around a lot. There might be a lot of shifts. But when you shift and grow, you're growing into something new. And so again, it's not going to be a super right in your face energy, but it could be that you just like to move a lot. And it's like, you're going to go to this house and like, I'm done with this. We're going to move again. We're going to move again. We're going to move again. People who like to move, they want to switch things up, move to a lot of houses, and it could be that there's like, multiple partners in a home, multiple roommates, and that changing energy is something that might be refreshing for you. I used to live in a Navy town, and I had some students that loved moving. Like, they were in the Navy, and like they get excited to go to the next place. So this is kind of like that Pluto energy. We have in this really nice place in this nice home. We really like this town, but guess what? We're going to crash and burn it. We're going to move down somewhere else. And they usually don't go back. So that's kind of the energy of that Pluto. But for that family, they really got energized by those kinds of choices. They love being in the Navy and moving and living around the world. That's what they wanted to do. So that's, an example of that Plutonian energy, that there's always going to be a lot of change, death and rebirth of your home life. And then if you grew up with that, you're going to probably want that too. Okay, so now we're going to go into the nodes. So we have the North Node and the South Node. And the North Node is where you are going to be focused to. South Node is where you really have done it before, but you're not really supposed to hang out there. So I'm going to start with the North Node in the fourth house. Now the fourth house, again, is the house of the home. And so when you have the North Node in the fourth house, what that means is that you're supposed to direct yourself to nurturing your home life and having children and taking care of that home. Usually people that have the North Node in the fourth house come from a workaholic background. Like, I need to work. I just need to be working all the time. My career is what I need to do. But what's happening with those people is that it's not satisfying for them. They're just kind of running in a circle. It's something you've already done. You've already mastered this career, and it's becoming kind of dragging you down. And then what your life path is to like come into the home, create a family, create relationships that are going to last for a long time. It's a dichotomy. And so that's where you're going to energize yourself, is to energize into the family. The North Node is in the family and my safety. They might want to move to the country, have a home business, and just leave the city away because it's been draining them, even though it's kind of easy. It's like it's a default. I'm going to work more. Okay, and then we're going to flip it around. So now we're going to talk about the South Node in the 4th house and the North Node in the 10th house, because this is like the dichotomy. The 4th and the 10th house are the dichotomy. Now, I'll admit I have my South Node in the 4th house, and it's something that I've kind of had to work through, and I'm still working through it. So having the North Node in the 10th house means that my South Node, I had a lot of responsibility as a kid. I was the oldest of 4. My parents split up. I had to babysit everybody. I got married. I ended up having 4 kids myself, and I've been doing a lot of taking care of kids and taking care of people and taking care of my stepdad. And yes, that energy has been a bit of a burden. It comes naturally to me. I'm very responsible. But what I'm supposed to be focusing on building my career and helping other people and nurturing them and bringing that career sense to the North Node in the 10th house. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm working really hard to push myself up there because all the energy of taking care of everybody has always been a bit of a drain. And so, but it's natural. It comes naturally because that's kind of what you were born into. But we need to go this way. We need to go up there. And so that South Node, I mean, you're not going to just abandon it because it comes easy for you, but to really grow in your life, we want to grow away from what feels comfortable, what you fell into, but what you are here to do, to grow more. And that's what I'm trying to do. Well, I'm doing it because I'm teaching all these courses and I'm building my internet experience and showing up this way. So that is how that works. And the very last thing I'm going to talk about is Chiron. Now, Chiron is the wounded healer. And so Chiron is kind of like Saturn, but in a different way, because Chiron is a bit more inward, because Chiron is the wounded healer. So you might have had a childhood that was, again, really tough, and it was maybe not very satisfying, and you maybe didn't get what you needed from your parents. Maybe one of the parents left, or your mom had real problems, or all kinds of things where it was like kind of a rough childhood. But then you did the inner work, you did the forgiveness work, you forgave people, and it's tough. I'm not lying. It's hard to forgive people that should have known better. But once you clean that energy up, you clear it out, then you're going to experience that I can create my own safe oasis. And I forgive my parents, and that's a long journey. And then I can create a home that feels good to me. I don't have to think of everybody else. I'm going to create this. And then you can help others work through those childhood issues to create safety. It's really powerful. I love talking about Chiron because that shows us how we can heal from some of the deep wounding, because that's what Chiron is deep wounding. So there's deep wounding, and this is the asteroid. There's tons of other asteroids, but I just like Chiron because it shows us where we have that wounding and how we can heal the wounding, and then we can share with others and inspire others. It's really powerful. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this. It's always like a journey when I go through all the houses. And of course, sometimes I have placements, like I have that South Node, and I'm still working on it. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear if this resonated with you, and we can have a talk in the descriptions. We can have a talk in the comments, and we can help each other feel safe, because that's what we're here to do. So, and yes, I also want to let you know that I have 2 free passion projects on Facebook. First one is YouTube success strategies, and that's where I'm coaching people on how to be successful on YouTube. And the other one is creative soul alignment, where we can share spirituality and art, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to create a beautiful world that works for everybody. All right, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.